Hey there, gang. This is a follow-up, a quick follow-up on my crashes video about keeping your software for your DAW updated, keeping your firmware for your interface updated, and keeping your plugins updated, et cetera, because they can cause issues. Here's another thing I want you to look at real quick. So I was doing this session at 96K, and most of the songs that we had bounced were fine. A lot of the times we bounce offline like many of you do because it saves time. Once you get everything tweaked, you're like, boom, I bounce offline. Doesn't matter what DAW software you're using, they all have this service. And I was like, wait a second, there's something wrong here. Like, I'm positive I didn't sing the song that far back of the beat. So we went through a couple iterations of masters, and I'm like, nah, something's still not right. I know it's not the master. So I went back to the session, I reopened it, and everything sounded fine. But I needed to make a couple other tweaks, like to make the guitar solo just a hair higher, and I tweaked a couple other little things and then rebounced it, and the problem was there again. And I'm like, wow, this is really weird. And sent it off for mastering, got it back, and I'm like, no, something's still wrong for this. And notice I don't master my own stuff unless I absolutely have to. I send it off to Bob Olson. It's always good to have another set of ears. Bob noticed it too, and he's like, well, open the session again and see if it sounds normal to you. So I did, and the only thing again that was the issue with the bounce was the vocal, or so it seemed, but weren't sure. There was just something wasn't right. Opened up the session, everything's fine. Of course, obsessing about mixing as we all do, made a couple more changes, bounced it. That one was okay. Oh, okay, so everything's fine, right? No, because I had to make one more little tweak to make it perfect, and it was something that somebody else had suggested, so I was like, cool. And then we're back to the problem. Long story short, what it turned out to be was one plugin, yes, one plugin from a very, very high-end company, which I've had problems with before. I mean, their stuff is amazing, but there are issues, especially in Pro Tools with AAX. And that one plugin, when you bounced offline, was causing problems. So Bob Olson said, look, bounce it in real time. And if that doesn't work, just replace that plugin, which I'd have to, it would take a little bit more work, but yeah, I had the settings and I could redo it. I bounced it in real time and it was fine. It was fine. But this is a lesson to you all to really be careful. If something's not right, it's not right. And it very likely has to do with some software of some kind. And a lot of the times it's the plugins because the code can be janky. I don't care how cool the plugin is. This is why there are a lot of big time engineers who only rely on the plugins that come with the software, and Waves and Oxford and Plugin Alliance, FabFilter, because their code is super, super solid. That you can rely on. So just be careful next time. If there's something wrong, you really have to listen. This was a very, very slight problem, but it was an issue. Just be careful, listen, don't just go like, oh, this is great, and bounce it and be done with it. Be very careful, and at the very least, even if it's problematic, bounce it in real time. One of the things that Bob does, I don't do this, but I might start doing this, he has always, since I've known him for 22 years, he's re-recorded the mix into the box. So had everything routed to a record bus so that it would work that way. And it's always been stable for him that way. I know many of you probably don't want to do that. It's not that big a deal, but it is an extra step. But maybe bouncing in real time is better. And I've brought it up to the plugin company. I know what they're going to tell me, the same thing they told me last time. Oh, AAX is a pain in the butt. Yeah, okay, then don't sell it. So That's my other tip for the day, is just be really, really careful and watch your plugins and really listen carefully. If there's an issue, it might just be that. Okay, cool.